Hello, guys. So this is the Gila podcast. This is our book club. So we have some questions that we're going to be discussing today. Our first question is: do you think it is morally right to use someone's medical data without their consent for research? So let's see. What do we think, guys?
I think no, not at all.
I think absolutely not.
Right.
No,
So why do we think no?
because in the past it has happened a lot, and it has not had good outcomes at all. Like, for example, the Willowbrook State School used to do researches on intellectually disabled children and expose them to the hepatitis virus, and then test the vaccine and study disease on them.
Oh, my
Doing
goodness.
that was without any of their guardians' consents either, let alone theirs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So things like that can be very harmful to a child and to a person in general.
Yeah. So it's just essential to really educate the person you're researching so they know what you're doing to their body and they know how to move about it.
That's true.
If originally Henrietta knew about the experiment and what they were doing is originally on her, and if her children also had the information and it was all full consent, everything, this would be a very different story for Zachariah, Deborah, and everyone that was involved.
So our second question is: was it ethical to perform cruel experiments on Elise in the name of science? So for context, there was a hole drilled into Elise's brain and the liquid was drained, replaced by helium to perform x-rays on her skull. So what do we think?
Absolutely not, bro. The only reason they treated Elise like this was because she was a black woman. Black women have always in society been treated less than as literally any other demographic here.
Exactly. And with the experiments and just the type of treatments that they tried on her, they were very similar to how they used to treat children whenever the Nazis how they used to treat the children during World War II. They used to do very weird, injecting dyes into their eyes, amputating crazy different things. Same with how they used to drill into her head. These type of things are not meant to happen to a human, especially if they're an unknown treatment that is not consented to by the parents or the child either.
Exactly.
Okay, our next question is very controversial. Do you think the mistreatment was due to the fact the Lax family was black or because they were poor? Now, we have very conflicting views on this.
Yes, I think it's because they were black. I feel like no other person would have been treated like this if not for the fact that black people at this time, if not ever, have not been viewed as people. People just treat them like animals. Obviously, during slavery and stuff like that, I feel like if you are of a darker complexion, you're just at a disadvantage everywhere.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think that the treatment was mainly not in her favor because she was poor. In the book, it says that there was no way of knowing whether Henrietta's treatment would have been different if she was white. They basically are explaining that she got the same treatment as the people in her class got. That could have been a white person, that could have been any person of any race. It wasn't just because she was black.
Okay, so I would like to counter that. So I think that no matter what your money status is the fact that you're black comes first. So people will automatically see skin color and will treat you bad automatically because of your skin color, despite you being poor. So you would still be getting treated bad first immediately because you are black or even a person of color.
To go along with the prior comments, the fact of the matter is that also the doctors used to believe that doing these experiments was a way to basically get paid back as well for treating these people. And even though the treatment was not right, it caused a lot of side effects and problems for Henrietta, they tried to use that as a justification to also use her cells for their own advantage and not hers.
The next question is, if the Lax family was white, do you believe that the treatment would be different? Would it be better or worse?
I definitely think that if the Lax family was white, they definitely would have been treated better. I feel like if they were white, they would have gotten like a statue. They would have gotten, all this exposure on the news. They would have gotten like paid in such many different ways. Of like, oh, this white family just contributed so much in the name of science. And I feel like because Henrietta was black, they didn't really see her as a person. They saw her as something that was expendable to like their own whatever they thought was necessary. But they didn't really think of her as a person. That's why people didn't even know what her real name was. People thought her name was Helen. People thought Hella was just like symbolism for something. They didn't really know that she was a person. And even the lady in the science office, like it wasn't until they dissected her body and she saw that Henrietta had painted her toes, that's when she realized that Henrietta was a person and not just a line of cells.
Adding on to that, if Henrietta had went in for abdominal pain, just complaining about pain in her stomach, and she had been a white woman, they would have checked her out immediately. She didn't find out she had cancer till months later. They didn't inform Henrietta about her condition until it was too late. There was nothing that they could really do to save her.
Going back to what Chloe said, in the book it said that there was research done and data that showed that that Henrietta did get the same care as any other white person, but black patients were treated later on in their illness than white people. So they were waiting to treat her, which also made her treatment worse. Because if she had got her treatment sooner, she could still have lived longer.
And going back, if Henrietta was a white woman, they wouldn't have immediately thought she had syphilis due to bleeding. They thought that she had syphilis, and so they tested her, and they found out that she didn't have it. If they didn't think this at all, then they would have already caught on to the fact she had cancer, and they would have started treating her accordingly. But because of the fact of the Tuskegee project that they had going on, when people were basically just contracting syphilis and not getting treated, they just thought that she contracted it from her husband, which would have caused a whole different issue for her, but it caused even worse for knowing that she had cancer.
The next question is, was it appropriate for Rebecca to get so involved in the family? And by this, you might be confused, like, what do you mean involved? Rebecca went out of her way, above obstacles, just, in our opinion, doing too much to get connected to the family. She was involved in sacred ceremonies and even throughout the whole process of the Lax family finding out about Henrietta. I understand her job as a scientist, as a journalist, whatever she has as a title, is to do this important research and educate the family, but the extent to which she did it was too much.
I personally do think that it was kind of necessary for Rebecca to use the language that she did to describe Henrietta Lacks in the book. Most of the time, we tend to see things in like a sugar-coated view. Like a lot of the times when it comes to like history and things that actually happened, we kind of get like a school-appropriate version of it when that's not what really happened. Like it's very important for learning and just to see things how it really was, for us to use things that sometimes can be a little bit uncomfortable for people, like to learn and to like be respectful of these people. Sometimes you're gonna have to be a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes you're gonna disagree with some of the things that happen, but that's okay, in the sense that you're learning and you're also being respectful to the fact that Henrietta was a real person and she had real feelings and that this is something that actually happened to her.
Our next question is, did the medical/behavioral issues stem from the family being inbred? So we know Henrietta has cancer, okay? She has cervical cancer. To get cervical cancer, it takes a lot. It takes truly a lot. So we're just thinking, like, how did she get it? Did she get it from her husband? Her husband that is also her cousin that is also in the family. Every part of Henrietta's family stays in the family. So we're thinking that possibly the medical issues that she experienced, and even her children, because her children, Elise had epilepsy, and her child, may someone remind me, Zachariah? Yes, you guys heard them. He has extreme anger issues. So we're all wondering, does this stem from the family being cousins? Are they related? We know that they're related, but how exactly has that affected the family mentally?
And according to the doctors, she most likely got the cancer from having HPV, which is a commonly sexually transmitted disease that gives genitalia warts. Poor girl.
Our second and last question is, do you think the fear of Rebecca from the Lax family was justified because of their fears of doctors/scientists?
I could go on for days about this. So the family's fear is completely justified because in multiple cases, the African American community has been mistreated by the medical field and scientific field multiple times, from the Tuskegee experiments and just in general with the government. The mistreatment of black people has happened a lot, and also people like to exploit others for their story, to make money off of it, and just to get information out of somebody. So especially with how they used Henrietta as well, it's good to be cautious.
Adding on to their fear of doctors, Zakaria was literally sleeping on the streets. He literally had to do stuff in exchange for little money and a few meals and even a bed to sleep on. This one time he signed up for this AIDS study so that he would have a bed to sleep on for about a week. But the moment that they started speaking about injecting him with different injections that he had no idea about, he ran away because he thought that they were going to give him AIDS.
Our last question is, if Henrietta survived cancer with the proper treatment, would she still get her justice?
Honestly, I think not.
No, because if she got her justice, that means that she would have ended up getting paid.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have been able to ignore her name. So she would have ended up getting paid, and I feel like her family would have been better off at least today.
I don't think it's just about excuse me, her getting justice. I feel like it's about her cells in the first place. Like
Yeah,
it said
exactly.
that Henrietta was very spiritual and stuff like that. And I feel like something people need to understand with people who are spiritual is that people like Jehovah's Witness, they don't really believe in like having your cells leave your body, injecting other people's cells into you, because like your body is your home and that's your thing. So like I feel like her justice would have been not even getting her cells taken out of her in the first place, and just never having her cells experimented on. That would be her justice, not money.
I feel like definitely if you had looked at it in like a religious aspect in the way that she was, you would think that. But also the type of person that she was, I don't think that she was somebody who wouldn't care about other people. I also think that she was a very compassionate person. And if she had the option to like know that her cells could save somebody's like billions of people's lives, I feel like she would have done that. I feel like she still would have done that. I think that it was unethical for them to use her medical data without her consent, because in Zakaria's chapter, it says how their whole family was poor, how he was homeless at one point, how he was in a mental hospital, how he was marked as like an aggressive person, and all these other things. Which this could have easily been prevented if he had just had like a portion of the money that they used for her treatment.